Simplified Chaos, episode 111.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hello, wonderful friends. Welcome to Simplified Chaos. This is Jillian, one of your hosts, and I'm with my co-host and husband, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks? I hope you all are having a wonderful week this week. Jill and I have another great episode here for you. So what are we talking about this week, Jilly?
I'm thinking this episode should be titled Insert Fun Here.
I like having fun.
Who doesn't?
There are some people.
Maybe
they have fun not having fun.
Maybe they just don't know what is fun.
That's true.
Could be. I don't know.
Well, we're going to talk about a lot of fun today.
Yep.
But before we dive into that, it's time to show a little gratitude, Jilly. So what are you grateful for this week? Pick a side of the microphone.
I'm so sorry.
I'm kidding.
You're not. You're such a perfectionist. It's probably bothering you that I'm going back and forth.
No, you're good. I think you were just trying to make eye contact with me.
Maybe. I'm just giddy because I'm grateful for my mama. We just came back from a lovely and very spontaneous date with my mom. I was able to go to the VIN 909, if anyone is from Maryland and has ventured to Annapolis. VIN 909 is the shit. It's got amazing brick oven pizzas, and we had a couple glasses of wine, and Mama Bear and I were just by ourselves, and we were able to connect, and that was the exact place where I found out that I was pregnant with Lucille. So it has a great...
that came up.
Oh, every time we're there, it comes up how I got that phone call that shocked us all, that like the one IUI that I did actually worked, even though they're like, so it's probably not going to work.
Right.
But yeah, we just ate delicious food.
Brought back some leftovers.
Brought back leftovers for the fam, and it was just so great to connect to my mom, and she's just an amazing being, and I'm just so grateful that I'm her offspring, because she's fucking rad, and I'm just glad that she can teach me rad things that she is. So yeah. No, your mom is amazing. I'm glad you guys had a chance to have some fun tonight and connect, and we did.
It was a very spontaneous thing, and that's always fun.
And I'm also grateful for the support of being able to do that.
Yeah.
Like Uncle Mark watching
Uncle
Lucille
Mark.
and you being
for
like,
the win.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to get my hair cut, but I'll be back.
It's been pre-scheduled for a while now. It's tough to get in there.
Yeah. But what about you? What are you grateful for?
So this week is very easy. I'm grateful for power washers. You're like, God damn it, a tool. But yes, I really figured out what is the most gratifying household chore this past weekend. And it is by far, I mean, it's not even close, that power washing is by far the most gratifying household chore to do, bar none. Like, no question. Just seeing dirt just magically being washed away by pressured water is freaking amazing. So obviously we're prepping our house for going on the market relatively soon, and we had some spots on the front porch that just kind of needed to be pressure washed. So I was pressure washing more concrete than I was the actual siding of the house. But then there was the stairwell that leads to our basement in the backyard. My God, that was pretty horrific back there. I think the last time I had pressure washed the stairwell was about 2 years ago, and that's definitely an every year kind of thing. And I guess I got a little lazy last year and let it go, and boy, did it show. I mean, it went from basically almost black to this nice light concrete color, which is just amazing. So yeah, there was nothing more gratifying just to see that dirt go away.
You inspired me to pressure wash something one day. I've never used it, but now I'm like, man, I got to try out this whole pressure washer.
Pressure washer comes great responsibility. Yes. But no, it was awesome.
You were outside for a while this weekend pressure washing, and I'm so glad it was gratifying because that was a long time you were out there to do something that you're like, man, this sucks, but I guess you were really enjoying the transformation.
When you see that dirt go away, it doesn't matter. I could be out there for hours. I mean, I certainly felt it afterwards. It was funny today when I was getting my hair cut, and Sam showed me the back of my head. He takes the mirror up just to show the nice shaped job he did in the back there. And all I saw was just this red neck, and I was like, man, I got a lot of sun this weekend. And because I was outside a lot, and you don't really think to put on sunscreen this early in the year, but yeah, I got a little sun. I got a little redneck going.
A little vitamin D?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Good stuff, babe.
Yeah. So let's talk about fun.
Yes.
Something we never talk about on this podcast.
We're so boring.
Yeah.
Nothing ever fun happens. So I had the inspiration for this topic, like always, usually on walks. I was walking my nephew Reese. He was like snoozing away, so it extended my walk one evening. And
last night.
Was it last night?
I think so.
Okay, it may have been long ago. No, and it just kind of popped in my head. Just what a delightful evening it was to be able to walk with him, and how grateful I was that I'm able to have so much fun in my life. And I feel like I've been having more fun than usual. And it sounds strange during this pandemic, but honestly, I've had more time than ever. So I feel like I've been able to plan fun.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what boundaries are in our way, we find a way to make it fun. And we find a way to make sure that we are doing what we want to do and what we're craving. And I was just thinking, like, even through all of this chaos that's going on with the world and with my job, like working from home, these pivots, these shifts that have happened, and even with selling our house and, getting a house built, it's a very busy season right now. We have still made it a point.
It may be one of the busiest seasons we've had.
It's true.
In quite a while.
Absolutely. And we have been so damn good of making sure that we're still planning to have fun.
Yeah.
Like every day and every weekend and monthly, and like we really make it a priority now that we're having fun no matter what we're doing. And I think it's just something to share about like what fun has done for our life, because if we were not intentionally seeking fun and making it happen in our lives and planning it and not saying, oh, I never have time for that, then I don't think things would be unfolding in our life the way they are. Because I think the more fun you have, the more excited you are, the more happy you are, and the more you make it a priority that this has to happen more often, because you feel the energy that goes through you and you feel how it lights up. And I'm just speaking from my perspective, but everything that has happened that, we're selling our house, we're moving to a place where, we've dreamed about living, your mountains and good food and coffee and not too far from family. And, the list goes on of just about where we see ourselves. And that would have never happened if we didn't continue to seek out adventures and rent Airbnbs and go travel and seek out new restaurants and new places, and then make connections with people who are there and have conversations. And I think fun is underrated. Like, I just wanted to talk about like what fun has brought to our life and how I think it's kind of leading us to a happier and more meaningful life.
Yeah. Underrated is a good word. I think it's just not recognized either. Like, I think we've come from a place where we've had so much fun, and then with the pandemic, hitting, a lot of people's quote unquote fun has been kind of taken away. But like, there's certainly ways to create that. But like, just even recognizing when you're having fun and being mindful about that is also part of the equation, and just kind of being in those moments. And you're right. I mean, we've sought out fun over the last year, and we wouldn't be moving to Charlottesville if we weren't seeking out fun. We could have just canceled our trip to Denver and just said, okay, we'll do something local. But we were like, no, we still want to go somewhere outside of Maryland. And we ended up doing it. And it really put this whole life change into motion for us. So yeah, I mean, fun has really netted us a lot of great things in our lives.
Yeah. I guess I really had no like layout of where this episode was going. I just wanted to share kind of how we've been just, I don't know, letting go of the bullshit that distracts us from having fun. We're not making excuses. We put it in our calendar. We make it, I mean, that's one of our values is like, so I think that's where it starts, is just talking with like what we value. And normally, honestly, whatever we value usually is fun for us. Like we value travel, and
Sure.
that's a lot of fun.
Value fun or travel. We value friendship, and that was part of the whole fun this past weekend, and what we reflected on Friday night. I went out with my great friend. I'm gonna miss them terribly when we move, but it was one of those nice nights, and we ended up going to a brewery that he and I have always wanted to go to. Whenever we hang out, when we were watching Ravens games during quarantine or whatever, he would get these beers from Key Brewing, and I was like, man, these are actually really good. I haven't been drinking too much beer lately, but they actually do have some really good beer. So we tried it out, and it was a lot of fun. His sister lives 5 minutes from the brewery, so she ended up meeting us, and she brought some of her friends who were neighbors of hers, who also obviously lived 5 minutes up the road, but they ended up being extremely nice people. And we even went back to their house just to check out this tiki bar that he built on the side of it. Now, this is a row home in Baltimore, an N unit. Not in the row home in the sense like it's all concrete. There are some yards with this area of Baltimore, but man, you would have thought it was a professional job. I mean, the attention to detail this guy did, and just the hospitality they showed us. I mean, he even ordered pizzas, like didn't even say anything. Just the next thing you know, pizza showed up at the little tiki bar and stuff like that. So I mean, it was a extreme amount of fun, and then Saturday night you did the same thing with your good friend or best friend. I don't know if you want to
BFF, Burnham.
BFF, but like fun for us doesn't necessarily mean that we have to do it together. We can have our own separate fun too.
Yeah, and that's something that I kind of had a revelation, because I'm also reading this book that just talked about the importance of having love in not just a relationship with your significant other, but a love and a equal and relationship with your friends too. And I feel like we both have that, which I'm so honored to have. Like we both have those friendships that we love so much and that we make time for, and that, it's always fun. So it's like, I think we're getting a lot better at saying no to the shit that gets in our way of having fun. We're really good at saying no to the things that we're like, it's not a hell yeah. And we're getting really good at making sure that we're planning more fun in our lives. And I can see the benefit of how it's unraveling in our lives. And I think sometimes there's so much emphasis and applause with like the hustle and you work hard. And I think that, not saying that it's not important, but I think not enough credit is given to like, I don't know, just relaxing and having fun with doing things that you enjoy and things that you love and being with the people that light you up. And I'm noticing the less I'm trying so hard to hustle and do something, and the more I relax and have fun and just kind of enjoy and do the things that I love to do and be around the people I enjoy to be around, I'm noticing more better things are happening in my life.
Sure.
So it's like contradicting itself in in the world of like hustle, do more, achieve, get there, success. It's like actually the more I let go and the more I relax and the more I start to be in tune with what I want and what I want to do and just enjoy it for what it is and appreciate the small moments and be present. It's like the more I'm noticing my life is becoming kind of quote unquote my dream life, if that makes any sense.
And I think the other side of it too is now that we're leaving the area, like I am valuing every second. Not that I didn't value it before, but I know that there is a time where we're just not going to be around in the area and can, my buddy called me up and say, hey, you want to grab a drink at the bar? I realize that, but like, it's just like times like that and moments like that. It's just like, this is, I'm enjoying every moment of it. I'm being in the moment and just trying to make the most out of it. And it's also going to be like anytime we hang out, afterwards when we come up in this area, just because it's the same thing. And I think the pandemic has really kind of put that into motion for a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of friends that you probably haven't seen in a long time. Same thing with our listeners. There's folks that you would love to hang out with that you just haven't seen in forever for one reason or another. But then, when you do get to hang out with that person, whether it was last week, whether it's 2 months from now, whenever, I mean, it makes it that much more special. And I think people are going to be more in the moment and seeking out more fun, as we come out of these kind of dark days that we've had. And it's going to take some time, but, we just need to kind of remember the fun that we used to have and make sure that we continue on with that.
Yeah, I mean, what a great silver lining to have happened out of this whole pandemic of just making you appreciate your friendships and just having fun even more than what you did before. But yeah, I mean, this is the basis of what I wanted to share. I feel like we are choosing tasks even more intentionally, or choosing connections or events even more deliberately to make sure that this is something that's going to be fun for us. It's going to be joyful. It's going to up level us in some capacity. And I can see the benefits of kind of what's unraveling for us. And it's so fucking fun. It's so fucking fun. Like, I think when people talk about like their lives changing and things are happening for the better, you think like, wow, it must be a lot of work. And not that it's not a lot of work, but man, it just, to me, I'm just noticing it's just really letting go of like so much shit that was in your head of like, what are people going to say? How are people going to react? Or you compare yourself to, it's really just like letting go of fears, really. It's what it comes down to, at least in my perspective. Just letting go of what you think people are going to do, or how people are going to judge you, or the life that you thought you were going to live versus the life you really truly want to live in that moment. And I know like every season is different, but right now I'm just excited for what's happening. And I honestly contributed all to letting go of everything that isn't serving us, and just really listening to what we want to do and what's calling us and what's fun for us. And I wrote like a short list of just like everything that we love to do. We made it a priority to happen. And I feel like it's happening more because we started just like that one small act of like planning it. So I just like wrote hiking. Like, I feel like no matter what, we plan to like do a hike or a walk somewhere, and travel using Airbnbs, and, visiting local coffee shops when we can, no matter what that may look like, if it's carry in or carry out, and, just connecting to new people and friends. And throughout the pandemic, I've made it a point to just at least have conversations on the street to people that I'm always like, just, or complimenting somebody, just to like make an interaction. And it's genuine. Like, I'm really like, I just want to connect with people outside of like our little bubble. And I'm still reaching out to people for the podcast that really speak to me, and like I would love to chat with and learn their story more. And I'm still making a point to write and blog. It may not be as consistent as I wanted to, but I still try to do that and create. Like, anytime I have an idea to create something, I don't think about anymore like, what are people going to say when I put this out there? It's like, this excites me, I'm just going to do it. Like, no matter what it is or how messy it might be, it's just like, I'm just tired of judging myself and trying to think of all the reasons why I shouldn't. It's like, if it lights me up, why not put it out into the world? I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
People follow you for who you are, not for what you think that you ought to be. It's like, if you put yourself out there and you don't have to worry about that stuff. You don't have to worry about the likes. You don't have to worry about like people who are attracted to the way you think, the way you articulate things. Those are going to be the people who follow you, and that's all you need, really. You don't need a large audience, but at the same time, like, it's just like, put yourself out there, be yourself, and whatever comes to you.
Yeah, I just feel like it took me a while to be in that place.
It's tough. I mean, it's extremely tough.
Yeah.
Social media and the world today, you're always being judged, and of course you want to appease everybody, but that's just never going to happen. There's always going to be somebody who has something to say, negative about what it is, or your thoughts or your opinions on things. And you just got to say, fuck them, and this is who I am. People can accept me for who I am. And if they don't accept me, they can go to hell.
Damn. Just give no fucks. That's really what's...
I really don't want anybody to go to hell, but I mean, that's basically the way you got to think.
Just give no fucks and have fun. That's really what it comes down to. I think I was always trying to overcomplicate life. Like, I always thought it was way more complicated than I thought. Like, even being as a kid and you see adult life, like, man, that looks complex, or how am I going to do that? And it really...
How can I avoid being an adult for the rest of my life?
It's really like you become older and you grow, you mature, and it's like you really have to hone in your inner child, so to speak, and just remember like what it was like and how freeing it was like to be a kid and kind of like, I don't know, bring that symbolic kid in with you into like your adulthood and remember. And I think it helps like having Lucille around for sure. Like, I know that I probably would have not learned this lesson as fast as I have unless she was in my life. But man, like, she helps you grow up fast, and she helps you remember to be a kid again too. It's crazy how it kind of goes hand in hand.
It's funny, being a kid is being human, and we forget that as adults, that who we are as a kid is about as raw as it gets, and is about as human nature as it gets. And over time we learn all these behaviors, based on what people say to us, and what we did and what we didn't do. It's just crazy that we look at kids and we're like, we need to correct them all the time, but they're really showing like basic human instincts and stuff like that. And the more we kind of like correct them or whatever, it takes a little bit away from them. And it's how we shape who we are today.
So true. That's why I'm excited to be Lucille's co-learner, co-traveler.
That's right.
So that we are always alongside of her and not thinking that we know it all. Yes, we've been on this world and this earth longer, but just because doesn't necessarily mean that I know what's best for her. And I'm excited to have more fun and learn more how to be a kid again.
Yeah. She's teaching us more and more every day when her vocabulary advances and stuff like that. And yeah, it's crazy.
Thus, the Instagram handle, Listen to Lucille Was Born. And it was one of those things that came to me right before I was going to bed about like how much amazing shit that this 2-year-old is teaching me. And I'm like, I want to start documenting this. Like, I don't want to put in a diary. I already write in my journal and my planner certain things. And this was just something like, I think more people could benefit from what this 2-year-old's wisdom has done for me. So that is why I just put it out there and was like, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I'm putting it out there.
There you
go. It's just, she's very inspiring, and yeah. Having fun. Who would have thought having fun would lead to just so many amazing things?
Who would have thought that having fun would be so much fun?
How many times have we said fun on this episode?
I don't know. I'm going to go back to something you said very earlier and that you say often in our podcast, and it's just this imagery that I have in my head. Whenever you say level up, I just picture Mario hitting one of those boxes and a mushroom coming out, and it gets the one up on him.
I'm going to think about the star. No? Okay, cool.
One up.
I know.
Anyways.
He grows bigger.
He does.
I might be growing bigger, but it's in the waist, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Feeling cushiony, and I'm loving it.
It's the pizza.
It's the pizza. It's so good.
All right. So do you have any resources for our listeners today here, Jillian? Do you? Like, that's a stupid question.
I do.
All right. What you got? Okay.
So part of the inspiration for this episode is, number one, the book I'm reading. It's called Spirit Junkie by Gabrielle Bernstein. And it was so funny. So I picked this book called Spirit Junkie to read, and I made like a little book club with my stepmom and my stepsister. And then I was just quickly like looking at some of the podcasts that I subscribe to. And I noticed on the Melissa Ambrosini show, which I haven't listened to in a while, that lo and behold, Gabrielle Bernstein was one of her guests on an episode. So I listened to it, and I took notes during the podcast because I wasn't driving. So just letting you know, I tend to listen.
You are quite the note taker.
I tend to listen to podcasts now when Lucille nip naps on me. So she fell asleep on the nip, and I just wanted to share some of the notes that kind of relate to this episode topic that really spoke to me.
Go for it.
Okay. When we focus on making our days joyful, we live in alignment to what our purpose is. Follow the feeling, the desire, and make sure every action you're taking is out of inspiration and not out of control, force, or fear. The inspiration shows us where to go and what to do. Mm-hmm. Shift from doing into the living and being.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
Yeah. It spoke to me.
And you wrote it down.
And the quote is from her, too.
Quote of the day. Jilly.
By Gabby. The more fun you have, the more your purpose is revealed.
Yeah. My purpose is to have fun.
Right? And you would have loved her because I know you're always like, I don't know what like my passion is. I don't know what I'm meant to do. And she was so big on reiterating that this is not something you need to find. It's something that it's within you. And it's just a matter of you letting go of all the bullshit to have fun. And then it just kind of organically reveals itself. So you would have liked what you had to say about that.
I may have to listen to old Melissa Ambrosini.
You might have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put all the links in the show notes for you.
All the links. And the Take Action Challenge, Jilly.
Insert fun wherever you can.
There you go.
Make it happen.
That's right. All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you like this episode, please do us a favor and help us spread the message. You can do this by writing a review or simply by sharing this episode with a friend. And remember, sharing sparks a conversation. Conversation leads to action. And action is how we're able to live a happy and intentional as hell lifestyle. We want to thank you all for listening today. And we will see you again next week.
See y'all later.